In headlines, Samdrup town starts easing lockdown restrictions with the introduction of zoning system. As an expression of solidarity, Bhutanese offer prayers for India to win over COVID-19. And Bhutanese archer Karma hopeful of achieving the minimum qualification score to be eligible to represent the country at the upcoming Olympic Games. Kuzangpo, a warm welcome to BBS News. I'm Samtun Dolkar. His Royal Highness Gyaltsab Jigmetorji Wangchuk inaugurated the water supply infrastructure built by Desups at the Kalapang Risa National Service Water Project in Salinggeok of Mongar yesterday. Ajit Sulhamo accompanied His Royal Highness. The irrigation and drinking water supply infrastructure was handed over to the people.
His Royal Highness the Gyaltsab handed over the bylaw on sustainable water management to Salinggeok and other stakeholders. The Mongar District Administration drafted the bylaw in consultation with the community of Kalapang. His Royal Highness also granted certificates and medals to the participants involved in the Kalapang project.
The water flagship program will benefit 136 farmers of Kalapang Chiwog. We are extremely grateful to His Majesty the King for initiating such a project in our Gyog.
Kalapang is a suitable place to grow vegetables and fruits on a large scale. Today, on average, a farmer in the Chiwog earns more than 100,000 Newtons selling vegetables and fruits every year. And now this is only expected to increase.
I
have 5 acres of land in Kalapang and another 5 acres in Mangling. So land is not a problem for me, but irrigation water was. Now, the irrigation water His Majesty granted has been inaugurated, and I want to work harder, although I am old.
Within 4 to 5 months, the Desup volunteers successfully connected irrigation water to every household here. Now we can take up farming, depending on our ability to work. We are thankful to His Majesty for granting us water kidu.
Kalapang faced an acute shortage of irrigation water since there was only one reservoir supplying water to 27 households. But through the project worth 5.5 million Newton, 4 additional reservoirs, a stream intake at source and pressure tanks were constructed. The work started in December last year.
Farmers of Kalapang are interested in growing vegetables in mass. And also, His Royal Highness the Gyaltsab has been aware of Kalapang's potential to grow vegetables. Accordingly, His Royal Highness instructed the district administration to look into resolving the irrigation water shortage in the Chiok.
His Royal Highness also met with another group of Desups on their way to work at the Desung National Service Water Project site in Samdrup. His Royal Highness thanked them for their tireless service to the nation. The water projects are part of the Desung National Service to build water infrastructure across the country for the benefit of the people of Bhutan. Desung initiated the national service in response to His Majesty's royal command that the youth of Bhutan should have the opportunity to carry out national projects that will benefit generations during the time of the pandemic. Desung works in partnership with the government and the Royal Bhutan Army in carrying out the projects. For Sunam Sring in Mongar, Chonidamo for BBS News.
Her Royal Highness Princess Yufalma Choden Wangchuk is now the patron of Red Dot Bhutan, a campaign to promote and create awareness on menstrual hygiene in the country. Her Royal Highness took over the role as Renew observed its 17th establishment day today.
In a written statement, Her Royal Highness stated the COVID-19 pandemic worsened menstruation-related challenges women and girls face around the world. Her Royal Highness said the need to address these challenges has become more urgent. Besides good progress in ensuring menstrual hygiene in the country, Her Royal Highness stated much needs to be done. As part of the event today, the Education Ministry and other relevant agencies also launched the campaign on menstrual health management.
Menstrual health management is aimed at improving outcomes of education, health and gender equality for girls and women. It is about supporting them to have confidence, knowledge and skills to manage their menstruation safely using appropriate materials and facilities at home and away from home.
The ministry also signed 2 memoranda of understanding with Renew on menstrual hygiene. As per one of the agreements, Renew will provide reusable sanitary napkins in schools, especially in the rural areas. The two parties agreed to focus on promotion of adolescent sexual health and rights, menstrual health and hygiene, and prevention of teenage pregnancy, among others. Her Majesty the Queen Mother Sangye Wangchuk also inaugurated a bus for Renew the Japanese government donated. Kilitim for BBS News.
Now, the lockdown in Samtupjonker town was lifted this morning and the zoning system introduced. This means people are allowed to move within their zones using a movement cart. However, the movement of vehicles is restricted and schools and offices also remain closed until further notice. The town was under a 72-hour lockdown since 7th May after a policeman tested positive for COVID-19 from the community. Meanwhile, today 3 of his contacts also tested positive. They were already in quarantine. Over the last few days, the Phinsoling police detained 11 people for breaching the COVID-19 protocol. They were caught drinking inside bars, which were locked from outside. The cases will be forwarded to court for prosecution soon. As per the penal code, the defaulters will be charged with criminal nuisance and breach of public order and tranquility. Currently, Phinsoling town is under a partial lockdown with only the designated retail shops allowed to operate. The movement of people is also restricted within their zones. The Health Ministry and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, signed a record of discussions for the project strengthening the COVID-19 test and health service delivery yesterday. The project, which will strive to provide equitable and quality health services, will be implemented within a year.
The JICA-supported project will ensure that delivery of health services is not interrupted as the pandemic prolongs and the situation in the region escalates. Through the project, the Health Ministry will receive COVID testing and essential health equipment. It will also support human resource development through relevant in-country workshops and seminars.
This project is basically intended to improve the COVID-19 related activities as well as our general health services. And if you see the component of the project, basically we are going to get equipment, and for example we'll be getting some equipment like hemodialysis machine, X-ray machine, echo machines, which will be installed in our hospitals, and it will definitely benefit our people.
He added, the Royal Centre for Disease Control will also receive a few refrigerated vans which will be used mainly for COVID-related activities. The project will end in March next year. Kyalzang Chodan for BBS News.
As India battles the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of lives are lost every day. It has become a global concern. And the least Bhutan, her closest neighbor, can do at this moment is offer prayers for India. And that is exactly what Bhutan is doing in a show of solidarity for an end to the pandemic.
Sounds of bells and drums echo in the valley. A prayer is offered for the sick and the lost loved ones in India. This is Selungpekar Buddhist Institute in Paro. People of Dogar Gyok offered 1,000 butter lamps and prayers here.
심이루다 셈이루다 디스레 남스메게 편도 제체다바로 중성이
ngachara duge khamnalu gauchi bedi bestro chochi bedi bestro kaira jaga ge khabgiru ngachara na te thoramda du bedi yeble tendige be ngachara misechachap kairagi hakoela ngachara jengi twinkin ge thoramdin ngachagi namsem betam mindu
da jaga ge khamnalu anzumchita madu yetrabiru te mala ngachagi duge khamna te roramla te menkap anim china boda te dige kade ga sozumchi
te chimsa jaga ge khamnalu nami samita 기도 다kenga na che dunide maro lese lese thangdibe dina chenile misisi de zupo midu mi tangsa ta de bodolo nga chana ikhalu chama jiri mi tangda su me tangsa thangdigibe tenga che semgi zuma sole tendigibe tenga ra khatule gurish thapchi setebe sunila.
Similarly, Yumtile Chede also initiated prayers at Talo Sanga Chiling Sheda in Punakha today. More than 100 monks performed the prayer ceremony. This afternoon, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted saying he discussed the pandemic situation with his Bhutanese counterpart, the Prime Minister Dr. Lote Tshering. The Indian Prime Minister thanked Bhutan for the solidarity and prayers expressed by the leaders and people of Bhutan. For Bureau Reports, Sonamongdi, BBS News.
Chungka village in Chukha has been dealing with moths and caterpillars infestation. The damage they leave behind for the past 2 months, stripping farmers of their hard work. The farmers claim they recently lost over 15,000 cabbages and cauliflowers to a pest unfamiliar to them. It has affected crops in some 2 acres of land belonging to some 10 households.
Usually at this time of the year, 70-year-old Sring Doji reaps a bountiful harvest of vegetables from over an acre of land. The father of 8 grows cabbages, cauliflowers, maize and radish among other vegetables for commercial purpose and personal consumption. However, this season he is devastated as his vegetables are damaged by a moth-like pest. Then there are caterpillars which are very small but destructive. Chungka is located over 20 kilometers away from the Thimphu-Phinsaling highway near Gedu.
I have been growing vegetables for almost 6 years, and each year I have tried to work a little more than the previous year. The yields were also good. A small portion of my vegetables was damaged by caterpillars last year. But this year, a moth-like pest has appeared out of nowhere. The insect is eating away my cabbages and cauliflowers. It comes in millions, especially at night. It eats the leaves first and lays eggs on them. Then a green caterpillar appears and eats the remains.
The farmers bought pesticides, but it did not help.
We used the powder pesticide, but nothing changed. I informed the Tsokpa about it, and he informed the Gyeok Agriculture Extension Officer. They told us that the pesticides are not available at the moment.
The regular pest is not that destructive. The new pest has affected us a lot. It destroys especially vegetables at night and all the cabbages and cauliflowers. All our hard work went in vain. The agriculture officers gave us the powder-like pesticide, but it did not help at all. I don't think we can sell anything this time.
I will uproot all of these damaged cabbages and feed my cattle, and I'm going to plant maize. I'll grow cabbages next season too, and if the same thing happens, I'll never grow them. We need help in terms of pesticides.
The Gyeog Agriculture Office said the preferred liquid pesticide will reach the National Plant Protection Center tomorrow, and the office will supply in the coming season. But for now, the damage is done. All they can do now is hope and pray that the infestation does not occur in the coming seasons. This is Sringdanduk, PBS News.
Now, despite securing the country's first ever Olympic quota, Karma, the Bhutanese female archer, has to overcome another hurdle to be eligible to represent Bhutan at the upcoming Olympic Games in Japan. She has to achieve the minimum qualification score on a world stage, and this Karma hopes to fulfill at the upcoming competitions, which will be organized within the country.
Karma has been training rigorously at the Langjophaka archery range in Thimphu since she booked the Olympic quota. She was supposed to go to Switzerland next month to take part in the Archery World Cup Stage 2 to try and achieve the minimum qualification score of 605. But considering the worsening COVID-19 situation in the neighboring countries, the Bhutan Archery Federation recalled the decision. Now, Karma will strive to fulfill the score during the competitions the Bhutan Archery Federation is organizing beginning this weekend. The World Archery Federation acknowledged the competitions recently.
It is not sure whether I will be able to achieve the required minimum score. However, we have about 3 competitions starting from the 15th of this month. The other 2 are on 29th May and the last one is in June. I will do my best and try to achieve the score.
For now, going by her regular training statistics, both Karma and her head coach have high hopes. Karma's current best score is 666.
2019 tournament
I could not achieve the MQS in 2019 as it was very windy on the day of the competition. Weather conditions have a direct impact on our performances, but here it is not that windy. For example, here I managed to score more than the required MQS. I recently set a personal record of 666 points.
In case Karma is unable to achieve the required score, the Bhutan Archery Federation will have to send another archer, Sonam Dema, who has already achieved the required MQS. 30-year-old Karma booked the country's first ever Olympic quota at the qualifier stage in Bangkok 2 years ago. Bhutan has been taking part in various Olympic Games since 1984 and so far it has been through invitations and wildcard entries. This is Pasung Doji for BBS News.
A recap of our main stories. Samrujongar town starts easing lockdown restrictions with the introduction of zoning system. As an expression of solidarity, Bhutanese offer prayers for India to win over COVID-19. And Bhutanese archer Karma hopeful of achieving the minimum qualification score to be eligible to represent the country at the upcoming Olympic Games. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for watching. Also visit our website www.bbs.bt to read our stories. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube as well. Goodbye and stay safe.